world. What up, everybody? It's your boy Tommy D, you know, the nonprofit sector connector. I like saying the word hashtag. I think it's great. I think it's just, we should say it a lot more. So hashtag ending the stigma together. This is my journey. This is my campaign to shine a light on mental health issues, serious and persistent mental illness. I tell you, every time we do this show, I have no clinical background, but I got 47 years of being a human being. I'm raising 4 children with my wife, and I know people. Right? So I get to bring people on here. We get to discuss this because I believe together we can end this stigma. So that's it. Hashtag ending the stigma together. You know, you see the background, you see the shirt, you see the coffee mug, man. It's like Spaceballs. It's like that movie Spaceballs. But you see it because I'm putting it out in your face to let everybody know that this is a dialogue we have to have. Let me give you a couple things. 15 years sober next month. I got the ADHD, yes, the ADHD, I like to call it that. And I see my therapist twice a week. Why do I tell you that? Well, here's why. Because the more we normalize these conversations, the more we have these dialogues, and everybody can go, hey man, look at that guy, he's doing all that cool stuff. And that's what he's working through. Those are the things he's fighting. So I'd start with this. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind. Always. Let's go, baby. All right, what's up? Denise Ingenito is here. What is up, my friend?
Hi.
It's nice to meet you. What are you going to say? You can talk first. Go on.
Oh, it's nice to meet you.
Good to meet you right back. Welcome to the show. Welcome. I didn't know I was going to sing. Welcome to the show. So look, I'm aware of your organization for a long time. You're a licensed clinical social worker.
Yes.
I want to go on the journey with you, and I know I think I'm going to get it right. North Shore Child and Family Guidance Center.
Excellent.
I got it right?
Good job.
Because I flip-flopped it before. I was like, you know, now we got it. So, aware of your organization. I live up here in North Shore, Long Island, just down the road a piece. You know how we talk here on Long Island. Down the road a piece,
down
right?
Down the road a piece, yeah.
So, been aware of the organization a long time. Your colleague Melissa hit me up on the Instagram, which I joked with her when we were on a call the other day.
Yep.
I don't really know how to respond, so I was like, can we I figured out, can we take this to an email or text me or call me? It's ironic that I bring this up because we're going to talk about some of this stuff, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
There's so much coming at us all the time, and even as a business professional, right, I have my Outlook inbox, which I really want to wave the white flag on because I really can't. I have to surrender to that because I can't figure out how to keep up with that. I got LinkedIn. I got a little bit of the Facebook, right? I like the Instagram because it's fun, but I don't really, like I say, it's too much. So there's always so much coming at us. So I think that'll inform some of our conversation, you know, as we spend some time together today.
Absolutely.
What I always say about this show is I don't have the answers, but I can bring on people who can shine some insight, right? Who can look through their lens in the world and tell us about mental health and different challenges. I want to hear about your journey, what brought you to this work, what you do, and then we'll get into a little bit of AI, a little bit of social media, how it affects us, that sort of thing. How's that sound?
That sounds like a fabulous idea.
Well, Denise, this is your life. You know that show?
Yes, I do.
That's like, we're going to bring in your second grade teacher in a second.
I wonder if she's still around.
Same. I wonder if my second grade teacher.
Anyhow, growing up, I think I was always the kid who was on the playground and would kind of target the kids that were not playing with other kids.
Oh, you're a connector.
Yeah, I'm a connector.
Because you wanted to bring them into the fold?
And it was always fascinating to me or puzzling to me why they weren't playing with the other kids.
Yeah.
So early on, I think I started to develop or had that empathy.
Yeah, I was thinking like an empath. That's what I was thinking when we were talking about
absolutely.
that. What's your, I don't know much about signs, but what's your sign?
Aquarius.
Aquarius. I have no reason why I asked that. Because I can't say anything about that. Like if you said you were a Capricorn like me, I'd be like, oh dude, my Capricorn sister. I would have had like a whole thing about it, but I don't know. So.
Aquarius, but I'm pretty easygoing. But fast forward to college, I was going to college at Hofstra University, and my last year, one of my floor mates actually came to me, and she had made a suicidal gesture. And for whatever reason, she came to me.
She had done some, like attempted or something like that, or?
She actually drank a bottle of lantern fluid.
And she came to you right after doing this?
Yep.
Wow.
So
what were you studying at the time?
Sociology.
Okay.
And English.
Yeah.
So needless to say, I had my first hospitalization that I facilitated.
She lived?
She lived. got her to the hospital, and when I went to the hospital, I started hanging out on the psych ward because I found it.
When you went to the hospital with her?
With her.
Yeah.
I went and had her admitted. Obviously had help. I was only, 18 years old. I was a kid.
You're like a freshman? I said at least like I'm 22,
yeah,
maybe I'm figuring, oh my
18,
God.
19 years old. Wow. And I would go visit her while she was there because I didn't want her to be by herself.
Yeah.
And I started to connect with the other patients on the floor to the point where I would go back and visit after she was released.
No kidding. Wow.
So that's when I found, like,
do you know how important these stories are? Like, this is, like, we could have started, hey, let's talk about AI. No, this is the stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's your, like, I'm not like, this will be funny. I used to collect comic books, but not like some people collect comic books. Like, I collected them, put them in a plastic thing, never opened them, and put them in the, like, I have comic books from like 1992, right? And they're just in the side. They're worth nothing, but they're nice and clean in a plastic thing. But I say, like, you know, there's that, and why are we going to comic books? Of course, that, like, that Genesis story, like that's part of your story. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I found that I had this, like, love for it. So my first job out of college was an apartment maintenance counselor working with severely, persistently mentally ill adults, helping them maintain their apartments, teaching them living skills.
Meaning like clean and organized, or maintaining so they didn't get kicked out, or
both, a little bit of both, but to teach them so they could be more independent. Yeah. And then, you know, that was many, many, many moons ago, and I've had a variety. I've worked with vets, I've worked with 9/11 survivors, I've worked with children, I've worked, you name it, I've done it.
I want to ask you a quick question. If you didn't say sweet mate, she was on your floor, your
floor mate? She was my floor mate, yeah.
If that doesn't happen in your life, right, do you think you would have found this path as early, or do you think you would have found this path at all?
No, I think I would have still found the path. Yeah. Because she was one, I would have a board outside my door.
At 18?
At 18, 19, because people would come to the door with problems. And I was working 3 jobs, 3 part-time jobs to be able to get through college. Yeah. And they would need to know, like, when
to access you? This was a calling. This was who you are.
Yeah, and it is a calling. It's something that I believe very, very deeply. That's why I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, 100%.
So, you know, I ended up at North Shore Child and Family Guidance Center last year. I started. I had taken a break from clinical work a little bit to do some more administrative work, and I'm so happy to be back doing what I just am meant to be.
So you mainly, help me understand, at North Shore Child and Family Guidance Center, we're dealing mainly with children, right?
Children and families.
Children and families, right? So that whole dynamic. Interesting. I did philanthropy and focus this morning, and I had an organization called Lift on the show, and we talk about family, the family unit, and the importance as it relates to poverty, socioeconomic conditions, and all these different things. So you have to address it as a family. In fact, a couple of years ago, I had Kathy Rivera from North Shore Family Guidance.
That's my boss.
Yes, I had her on Philanthropy and Focus, and somehow, like, I'm not really good at having like a family calendar. Like, I live and breathe by my Outlook calendar. I must, because of the way my beautiful brain is, right? Somehow there was a family calendar on my phone that my wife put there that I didn't even know was there. But I got rid of Life 360 though, because I don't want the whole world to know where I am. So I pulled that off my phone. This is not relevant to the conversation, but it felt like I would tell you that, right? Do you know what it is?
I'm good.
You're a good listener. So, I go and I see this thing, and my wife is there at an appointment with one of my children at North Shore Child and Family Guidance Center on a Thursday evening when I'm interviewing Kathy Rivera the next morning. Now, I had known this child of mine was in therapy. I didn't have all the details, but it was just like a very interesting universal thing, and that how that all happens, you know, like, yeah, it's kind of a trip. Tell me about why you went there, and let's talk about young people. And, you know, I was not somebody who sought out therapy when I was a young person. I was, and I probably would have been somebody who said, that's not my bag, man, you know? Tell me about how you got to working with children, and then why that's so important that we empower young people to talk about their feelings and work through what they're dealing with.
I think it's even more important today than it was even when we were kids. I mean, it was always important, but as you started the show off with, our kids are getting bombarded in real time. Like if we weren't, invited to the birthday party, we may never have heard about.
Didn't even know.
We didn't know unless somebody, was mean and said, hey, whatever.
Right.
But these days
we can see it. You can see it in real time. It's the live from the bat or bar mitzvah or the sweet 16 that the junior or Sally is not at.
Absolutely. So that, and then having, if you were bullied in school, it was terrible to be bullied in school, but now you can be bullied in school, but you don't get a break when you get home.
That's what we've been saying for years. Like, I feel like we've been saying that for like 15 or 20 years, and now it's even worse, because I know it is. I'm raising 4 children, but I know it is because if it was bad then, I really remember, like, talk about young people and bullying and this tragedy with young people having suicidal ideations, and especially I understand, and I have 2 of each, 2 boys and 2 girls, and I understand. I was the MC for an event for iTry, which is a triathlon organization for young girls in middle school, and they're out in East Hampton. They do such great work, and girls, I understand even more so, are having more challenges, and I even see it, like, I don't like to get too personal, but I just see it in the dynamic of people I know, that it's always this comparison thing. Like, it's, and women, I feel like, have always had this problem, young women even more, that about whatever, body issues or, facial issues, the skin, all this kind of stuff. These apps and things like that, it's nasty, man, and there was a movie a couple of years ago called, oh my goodness, it was the Social Dilemma. It was on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. And it was all about the algorithms. And like, I watched or heard something recently that the algorithms are just like, if it's a young girl and she's whatever experiencing something like I'm not happy, or Google's I'm not happy the way I look, whatever, boom, the thing just gives them more stuff or sells her some stuff and all this kind of stuff. And the algorithms, especially in this Social Dilemma movie, which you should check out, it's of course it's set up this way, and it's not fair to us as humans, because it's so overpowering. There's no way. I know addiction pretty well, These machines are like, what if, like, when I was, when with alcohol, what if alcohol was put in my face every single time I look at my phone, and this is so challenging. Right,
and there is scientific data that says, and not to get too clinical, but when you post something and you look for the likes or whatever, you get a shot of dopamine every time you get that like. And I was like,
no, it does happen.
Yeah,
it happens, and I hate that it happens. I gotta tell you, and some of our brains don't make as much dopamine, right? And those of us who have special ADHD, right? There's reasons. I hate the fact. I love to post on social media as it relates to things that are nonprofit related, mental health related, business related, right? Everywhere I go, nobody knows the name of my kids unless they're personal, right? I don't like to post that stuff. I like to post this other stuff. But of course I'm looking for a shot. And I hate that I'm looking for a shot. Right. But I still go for it.
Absolutely.
It's craziness.
Absolutely. So there's so many levels to social media, and now we have the dimension of artificial intelligence, AI, right? So we recently had a case, a child who was being bullied. And he was being bullied because somebody created a profile and AI'd his voice and his face, and so it looked
made it look like he was doing or saying certain
terrible things. And it was proven that it was AI. So here's a new dimension to our clinical work: is how do you manage that?
So let me stop you for a second. First of all, so I have a guy who helps me with some social media and marketing and stuff like that, right? And he's quasi social media coach for some of the work I'm doing. He's teaching me some things. He doesn't do anything for me. It's a kind of a DIY thing. One of the things he showed me recently was a video of him, and he goes like, it was like a 30-second Instagram thing, and it was like him talking, some words on the screen, him talking again. He goes, what do you think about that? I go, whatever my feedback was. He goes, did it look real? I go, what do you mean? It wasn't him, but it was his face, his mouth moving, and all this kind of stuff. What torture are we creating in this society? Now, what this gentleman and I were talking about was business related.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's not a problem. Okay. But how you can create a profile, here's a problem in my opinion with a lot of things like this. Even if it's proven to not be true, right? And even if it's proven to be false,
damage that's already
it's
been
damage
done.
is done, and people just think like, like I always thought about like when somebody gets charged with like some heinous crime, right? Mm-hmm. And then they're like vindicated and then they're found not guilty, right? They still sort of have like, people still sort of think.
There's still history there.
And it even didn't happen, but they didn't happen. Right. They were, forget not guilty, they were an innocent person who got jammed up in some kind of case. But you always, people kind of, like, that's terrible. Go, please continue with that story, but I had to just say that.
No, absolutely. And then there's the other part of artificial intelligence, and the clinicians and I oversee all the clinicians between our Rosalind and our.
Do you still see patients?
I actually do still see clients here and there, but my major job is to oversee the clinicians, give supervision, direction, teach, and make sure that we're providing quality care.
Let me go back for a second because I stopped you. You started to say you oversee the clinicians, Rosalind and
Westbury.
Thank you. Okay.
So that's our Leeds place and our Rosalind. So there's been a lot of conversation because now there's AI therapy, artificial intelligence therapy.
A lot of people I heard are using ChatGPT as their therapist. Now I asked ChatGPT some cool stuff like, hey, send me an SOP so we can put up all this social media posts and all this kind of cool stuff. Yeah. But I could see, do you remember the movie, I think it was called You? It was Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with the operating system.
Yes.
Which is, we're like already there now. Like this, and I heard like this is happening now. So you're saying AI therapy, are you saying actual AI therapy, like it is therapy, again, air quotes, right?
Exactly.
Or are we saying like ChatGPT, people are asking both. Yeah.
Both. So there's been a conversation. So what does that look like? And think about what ChatGPT does. You feed it information, and then it gives you a summary. It may even agree with you on things, but it will never challenge you what you're saying. So let's say you're using AI for therapy, and you might have some distorted views. Yeah. We all have distorted views of something because it's through our perception.
100%. And look, I talk about my therapist, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, all the time, and it's great. And I'm like, he and I have this list of 10 things. I had asked him one day, I said, send me these things, these cognitive distortions. And I love that list. And I go, that's mind reading, right? That's mind reading, Tommy D. And I was doing labeling and mind reading in one move one day. I go, oh my God, I'm labeling my mind reading. It was like a funny kind of, all those distortions. So if I ask ChatGPT,
they're just going to agree with you.
That's not helpful.
Exactly, but children in particular, and adults too. But think about teenagers. If they don't want to tell anybody, or they don't want to, they don't want to tell their parents that they need to get the treatment, or they don't believe in treatment, or whatever. Let me just go on and do AI. They're not going to get the feedback that they need in the way that they need to get it. I
wonder though, is there some kind of benefit to it that they're at least able to express some emotions that maybe they can't walk away with like a concrete next steps, right? What do you think about that? So
that's part of the conversation. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Sure.
So we talk about journaling, before.
Right, my journal's not going to read back to me.
Correct.
Or right.
So if you use it, if somebody uses AI as a form of journaling, or just expressing emotions, we talk about sometimes we write that letter that's never mailed.
Yes.
And if it's used that way, then fine. But if you're feeling suicidal, right?
So let's actually pause right there. If somebody finds this and they are feeling that way, or very depressed, or need some support, 988. What is
988. The Long Island Counseling, the emergency number, the Long Island Counseling. I'm drawing a blank. The Crisis Center.
Long Island Crisis Center. Right.
Those are our two big ones.
Yep.
The Crisis Center probably is more. We had somebody recently who was in class having some intrusive thoughts, and she actually was on her laptop and actually chatted with somebody at the Crisis Center, and they were able to contact us, and we got her help immediately.
Oh my goodness.
So in real time is a very useful thing.
Sure. Look, we're going to have some, I tell you, the things like my business partner and I, like we're doing business development meetings. I go, let me just, he's like the king of it. He loves the ChatGPT. I like it a lot too.
Absolutely.
And I just and it is. And I throw something in there, and it's like, I'm like, holy cow. And I don't say cow. I'm like, this is unreal. Like, boom. Like, it takes there is so much good that can come from this.
100%.
And then there's always the other side. You know?
And that's with anything. Think about it. Like even, but then we also talk about what is it doing to our brains.
That's the longer term thing, right?
The longer term thing, like as far as critical thinking, problem solving, decision making. If we're using AI sources or platforms to be able to make our decisions for us, or even research skills. We talked about, we had that conversation too. It's going to change our brain chemistry. How, I don't know.
No, we don't know.
But it's something to think about.
It is something to think about. You know what I love though? If we can leverage this thing, like there's like a lot of things I either am not good at or don't want to do, right? And if I can make some other thing do that stuff for me, like some of the stuff it's done for me, like I say, like just an example, like I want to do this new show. It's called #EndingTheStigmaTogether, and let's do an SOP, and it's like pulls all these ideas. Tommy D, you're the nonprofit sector connector, and blah blah blah. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
and like that, great. And that's just an example. That's not really a real life example because this is already happening.
Right.
But if I asked it, how can I market this show and reach out to more professionals or just not just professionals, but people who want to talk about this, it would give me like 19 different steps. And I go, all right, well, should we do an email campaign? Yeah, and can you do a template? And it'd be like all this. That to me, what a boon for the 100%. Human race, right?
So I think what we're talking about is basically being able to educate people as to what the benefits are versus with any, like what we would do with anything, but the benefits versus the cons. And
how do we do that? See, it's difficult enough for us as older folks, right? How do we do that for like the digital natives and how, because they only know this is their paradigm, right?
Right. It's very difficult. I think that conversation happens probably on a daily basis in our clinic. Hour by hour, right? Because we have kids that are coming in, and just about any new case that's coming in, they're in their room addicted to their video games. They're in their room on their phone. And then there's arguments and conflicts that happen from taking away devices.
I got 4 kids. It is so unfair. Like I'm thinking of one of my children specifically. It is so unfair for me. For my behavior, I believe, is unfair to ask a child who is straight up addicted to this thing that is in his or her hand, and now I'm going to demand to take away the drug because I really, again, no clinical background, but I know a little bit about addiction. It's hitting things, it's getting me the dopamine, and now I'm addicted to this thing, and now you're pulling it away from me, and I'm supposed to walk it off at 10 or 12 or 14. Come on. So I mean, I need training on that stuff. We all do, because it's like the expectation to just say, "Give me that thing." It's like, and I even see it. It doesn't have to be the new devices. It could be the TV. Like one of my crew just will watch a lot. I was a big TV guy. One of my watched a lot of TV, and then it's like I gotta get this person away from the TV, and it's like I'm taking maybe the wrong word. And gang, again, judge me if you want to, but I'm saying drug because it's a drug, because it's giving me the fix and it's hitting on the stuff. That's difficult.
It is difficult. It is, and we do a lot of work with parents to and the children to bring them in together and say, okay, let's come up with an agreement.
Yeah.
How about if you get your homework done, then you get the device back, so that it's not taking it away. It's giving it to them. Right. It's something more positive than it is negative, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, and I feel like sometimes the behavior. Or the response to the behavior is, give me the device.
Exactly.
And if that's the go-to all the time, it's a tough thing. Right. Because like I watch in my own home and other homes I watch, as soon as something goes the wrong way, it's like, well, give me the device. And that is like
it's going to trigger off.
Lifeline, right? And you know where I think this went south in a lot of ways, in my opinion, and I want to make sure we get into everything you want to talk about, AI, social media. But the thing that really, and it was funny because it was like a trick. During COVID, these devices were like told to us, like, I remember having this conversation with my wife, and the big name back then was Roblox, which was like all these games, right?
Still is.
Yeah, is it? Right, you're in this work every day. It's not popular in my house anymore, but 5 years ago it was like everything. And I remember these conversations with my wife, and it'd be like, it's too much. And the thing was, I remember what the reasoning was. Well, they have no interaction. The kids and Roblox themselves knew that, and like fed into it. My kid and I kind of felt, I don't know if guilty was the wrong word, but I felt like they need to have some kind of connection and outlet to their people that they're not seeing, or they see them through a mask behind a piece of plastic at their school or whatever. That set a precedent, man.
It did, and I think this is sort of the outcome, or one of the outcomes from COVID, is that all of us were obviously impacted. Nobody knew what to do with this, and you're right; those were the lifelines to be able to stay connected. And then you had the 20% of kids that didn't have connectivity or a device, so that's a different issue for another show, maybe.
Yeah.
But
would you like to come back?
Sure, I'd be
Dude,
happy
I'm
to.
only, because here's the thing, you better hurry up, because I'm only doing this show until we end the stigma around mental health, all right?
I'm with
so forever.
So, but you're right. So we all got conditioned, but now we're back in person, but we need to be able to help our kids get back into person too.
Yes.
Because now we have a lot of anxiety, a lot of social anxiety, because they don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, I'm not against medication, like when it's appropriate,
Of course.
but like anything else, it's easy. It's a quick fix. You know,
Not always.
no, I know that.
Yeah.
No.
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
My point is, like, I think as a society, of course, it's like, oh, well, we'll just get a pill for that or get a pill. That you want to talk about another show? You get me on here and let me rant about big pharma for 30 minutes and that whole thing. Now, again, I'm not knocking utilization of medication as appropriate when it's the right thing. But as a society, we want the quick fix, man. We want instant gratification. I don't have to change sometimes my behavior because I could just do this thing over here, you know? Again, I'm not hating on medication, gang. It's all, and again, I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV.
But also, too, medication isn't the fix. And people, that's like a misnomer. It's not a fix. It's a tool.
It's a tool. Yeah.
And that's
so,
what
like, for instance, you have to, and that's why, you know,
when necessary.
When necessary, but also therapy in conjunction with medication, right? And evaluated and conversations. I want to ask you this, because I want to make sure if there's anything you want to hit upon, I promise you can come back because this is super fun and we could talk for days, you and me.
We
right?
could.
So what do you want to share? And then I have the ultimate question at the end, but what do you want to share about AI, social media, things like that we should be aware of or that you're learning?
I think that we just need to be aware that AI is impacting our ability to problem solve. It's having an impact on our kids. They're looking to that. We don't want them to look for that, to be able to get the help. We want the personal human touch because that's really, I mean, AI is not going to ever be able to replace that.
No. It's not.
And the child doesn't know that. So we need to be, I think it's awareness and being able, once we're aware, to be able to mitigate that. And
to say it is a great tool. It is a great 100%. Tool when we use it the right way.
Exactly.
Before we run out of time, here's what I always ask my guest, okay, through your lens and the way you see the world, my friend, how do we end the stigma?
To make it, to normalize it.
What does that mean?
To normalize it that you shared a little bit about your story, and you said everybody has a struggle, right? Everybody that you walk by has a struggle. We all have it. We all have some sort of trauma in our lives. If that's the case, why is it so stigmatized? Think about it.
I don't know the answer to that, and that's what I asked that question.
And that's what I'm talking about.
I don't know why it's stigmatized.
Normalizing by talking about it.
That's what this is.
Talking about it and having a positive response to talking about it.
Normalizing the conversation and having a positive response to that conversation. That is so good.
Doesn't it sound so simple? But it's not.
You know why? It is simple. It's not easy, you know, because the concept is simple. It makes sense. But when you're dealing with, not years, not tens of years, but millennia of crap piled onto this thing, generations of this. I mean, you know, there's so much, so it takes a lot. And I joke that, you know, I'll stop doing the show when there's no stigma. This is a journey. That's all this is a journey and a conversation. So it's about education and it's about normalizing these conversations and having open dialogues. Thank you so much.
And not being ashamed.
No, 100%.
Not being ashamed at all.
Cheers. Denise, thank you for being here.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure.
Will you come back?
I absolutely will.
I love it. I love it. My goodness, gang. What a show. What a show. What a concept. The nonprofit sector connector with hashtag ending the stigma together. I don't have the answers, gang, I tell you that, but I'll bring a bunch of questions and I'll bring some folks who do have some answers. We're going to talk about normalizing these conversations. We're going to talk about feedback. And gang, I'm telling you this, I'm in the fight, I'm in the struggle with you, I'm battling through my own stuff, and I'm raising 4 small human beings that are in my home, which makes it a little extra challenging. So listen, love yourself, love everybody else, all about compassion, take care of people, appreciate you, make it a great day. I'll see you later, bye. Oh, this is another In Focus production.